Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. This is part 3 of my video series on how to make your own shaker domes. So if you haven't watched the other two, please check them out. In my last short video, I showed you how to make the negative mold from polymer clay. In the first video, I showed you how to use some silicone putty, but if you don't have the putty, it's just as easy to make it from the polymer clay, the same material you use to make the positive stamp. So I have just received new bits of acetate from visors. Thank you to Karen from my village who gave me these straight away. I gave a Facebook shout out to all my Facebook friends asking if anyone has got any visors left, and I got loads of answers, so that's an idea for you if you don't know where to get these visors from. Many people still have them at home and are very happy to give them away and put them to good use. When you cut the acetate off, don't throw away the sponge, because that is very good as well for other crafts. You can stamp with that and use it for when you practice with your jelly plate. I might make a video on that as well, of what to do with this. So with this new mold, I've baked it in the oven, and so it's ready to go now. When you have done this and it's in the oven, make sure your positive fits into it nicely. Mine sort of just about clicks in, but it's good enough to go. As with the first stamp I've made, I just used one plastic tube again that I get from our till rolls. I don't know if you read my description, I own a pub, so we've got loads of these available every now and then. And I have already cut my acetate to size. Make sure you take the protective film off. I've done it before. It's not too much of a problem if you do melt it with it, but it's easy if you've done it before. And I've cut this to size. I left a bit of a rim, but I have actually rounded the corners off a bit, because I find, other than with this one, which I'm going to demonstrate in a moment, it's actually better for the smaller shapes if the acetate is not too big. So I will put my heat tool on. A reminder again, as I have given you in my first video, please open your windows, because you will heat this up and there will be some fumes, so try not to inhale those. I'm just keeping my window shut because I'm filming this. So I put this on I've got the physics heat tool. I just put this on the first setting, and I'm going to just heat the middle bit, but make sure you don't heat it too much, because then it'll get milky. But you will actually see, because I've practiced this once, it will actually mold into this already, so it'll be very easy to then use the positive stamp. And then you go around the edges, making sure this is fairly flat. You can actually use your heat tool to press it down a bit. And then you can release it, and you've got a mold. If you're not happy with the result, this one is quite good. If you want it deeper, if you want to press more, you can always heat this up again, and you might actually find it's easier to heat up. But as I said, try not to overdo it. Now all I need to do is cut this to size, leave a bit of a rim to attach the glue to, and to hide it properly behind the die cut. And there I've got it. Mold in the, a dome in the shape of my die cut. So as promised, I want to show you this method again as well, because in my last video I could only describe it because I didn't have enough acetate. So as I said, for this one I recommended having a bigger piece, because I found it curled it up quite a bit. This one I'm doing differently, because it doesn't have to go into a negative mold. I'm going to keep this on top, because the top bit is really flat, and I'm going to press this down whilst I only heat up around this. And because it's metal, it actually uses the heat or the warmth to mold this on the edges. And whilst it's giving way, and try to press it down a bit more, and then you can see once it's sort of taking the shape, it does shift a bit, but press it down as much as you can without curling up the edges. Let me just swap sides a bit here so I won't burn my hands. Yeah, as you can see, this one actually has got a bit of a fold in there now, so you will have a few that don't work as well. I had that with my trial runs. I'm not too fussed with this. I'll tell you what it is. Let me just check that there's not another layer. Oh, aha. Yeah, there we go. The power of demonstrating it. This actually still got a second film on it, that's why. So I've done this before. There we go. That's why it's a bit milky as well. So, as I said before, it doesn't matter if you got that, but this looks much better. So I'll probably have another film on this one as well. So, as I said, if you got a bit of a fold, I don't mind it too much because I can always put an embellishment there. But I can also set this down again and heat it up and see if I can get rid of this. And the reason might have been that I still had the other film on it that kept it a bit more in place. Oh, and another thing I did forget, I don't know if you noticed, I forgot to put my placemat underneath, because obviously I'm on this mat here. You shouldn't really have a rubber mat underneath, but I think I got away with this one. So yeah, as you see, this is much neater. Not perfect, but as I said, if you've got loads of pieces, just trial it out. Some will be better than others, but you can still use those. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I hope this was good inspiration for you to try and make your own shaker domes. And see you in my next video where I show you how I have used these shaker domes.